Present and future devices not only look computing models, also combine hybrid models, computation as well as the communication, particularly to provide a massive MIMO, multi-input output systems, and also the algorithms which are too much complicated and complex in nature, particularly AI-related algorithms. And after capturing the data, doing pre-processing, sending required data according to the context and application requirement in real time. That's the challenge. So for that, hopefully 5G and sometimes people are talking about 6G and beyond wireless communications are going to be one of the solution. And with this, thank you. And if you have any further questions, please welcome.
Thank you, sir. There were a few questions in the chat box. I'm going to read out for you.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes. Anomaly detection using machine learning in IoT is very expensive. How to reduce cost here? This is one of the questions. Yes.
That's good. Basically, when we are talking about anomaly detection, there are two aspects which are very important. As I told you, high-speed camera system. High-speed camera system means, let us say 500 frames per second into HD. We will take 1024 into 1024. And if it is a monochrome, into 8 for the representation of the pixel. If it is color, into 24. That is the bandwidth that is really required for real-time applications. Now, if you want to do anomaly detection using a camera, you can calculate the communication aspect using this. If you can do this communication remotely, the remote system can have higher infrastructure. And if you cannot do, then you have to go for with the lower resolutions. And today's processor like Snapdragon 865, or you can take the Xilinx Zinc Ultra Scale RFSoC. These chips are providing enormous resources. Of course, they are costly. There is no doubt. Now, look at your application and its requirement. If it is a complete campus, most probably these systems will be able to give the solution. Otherwise, also you can go ahead with the ARM Cortex A72 basic processor, which can do a lot of computations in the real time. Or you can also go for the Jetson type GPU systems from NVIDIA. They will also be cheaper, but they are able to do a good streaming processing if you are working at the lower resolution. So the cost is, as I said, is not that much the way you are having 5 years back. Now Jetson board is coming around 40,000 rupees, and a Zinc Ultra Scale is coming around something around 7 lakhs, and Snapdragon is coming around 30,000. And if you go ahead with the a simple ARM based A9, it may come around something around 10,000. Now, what is your application? When you talk about anomaly detection, what for you are doing, that is more important. And depending upon that, if it is airport, most probably you can go ahead with the meaningful higher level, but the cameras are capturing the data, and whenever there is a small algorithm, you can simply say basic the image change detection, and whenever anomaly detects without doing full analysis, you can send that particular video to a centralized system, and there you can do a detailed analysis, and if it is dangerous, and then give the red alert. Like that, you need to do a systems design. Also, you can reduce the cost.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there is another question. How does machine learning employed in wireless communications, or is there any future scope?
Yes. Actually, whenever you talk about the 5G, what 5G is trying to do? It is trying to combine the available spectrum. Also, it is trying to combine the context and personalization. So, how do you know the context and personalization? You have to implement certain algorithms, and machine learning algorithms are best proved algorithms as on today. Also, the cognitive radio, you might have already listened about the cognitive radio. There, the energy efficient spectrum management technique. In fact, there are concepts like primary users and secondary users, and the primary users are the owners of the spectrum license owners, and the secondary users are they are using their spectrum whenever they are free. So to identify which one is the cheaper and available for my usage, you require to implement certain automated algorithms. Otherwise, you may not be able to implement in real time. There also, you can use the machine learning algorithms. Another one is the physical layer. See, 5G and beyond wireless communication talks about a hybrid multiple communication protocols in a single system. Maybe using reconfigurable computing concept, the physical layer protocols needs to be executed. So you don't know what signal is going to be received. You don't know which protocol I need to use to talk to the others. So for that, probably you can use the machine learning algorithms. The next and foremost important thing is jamming the signal. So people trying to attack on your system. Some people trying to steal your system. So the cyber security algorithms also going to be use few of them machine learning algorithms, or it is a combination of encoding, networking, and machine learning algorithms needs to be implemented to save yourself in future communication systems. This way, machine learning algorithms are going to be useful for your future communication systems.
Yes, sir. Sir, another small question.
Yeah.
Is it necessary to know the AI concept in order to learn ML or DL?
Unfortunately, many people talk about AI and ML is different. See, what is AI? Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence means mission automation, means automatic algorithms finding. So in the beginning, people used to talk about soft computing techniques with respect to the AI. AI is having perception, machine learning, and the cognizance. If you combine all these, four aspects, this will be, AI. Cognizance also talks about natural processing of languages, also talking about the human behavior and thinking process. Partially, the thinking process can be implemented using machine learning. When you talk about machine learning or AI in that matter, they are approximate algorithms. They are not, predictive algorithms. So when something is approximate, how to reduce the range or tolerance, or what is the approximation value? 0.5 to 0.6 or 0.55 to 0.56. That depends on your accuracy level. So to improve the accuracy level, to tackle more deeper analysis, people have introduced this deep learning like CNN, DNN, ANN. Otherwise, we already having neural network process in the AI. So I don't see much difference between two. If you are really wanted to go for only thinking, introduce the intelligence based on the data analysis, then machine learning is sufficient. But if you are trying to interface human being, mostly you also required speech processing or human behavior introducing apart from the intelligence. Hence, where exactly you are working, that depends. Do you only sufficient subset of the machine learning compared to the AI, or you wanted to learn AI and then go for the ML and DL? Many of the cases, if you are working with the image processing and the automation algorithms, ML and DL is sufficient. And if you are working for the human behavior simulation and interaction with the human behavior, then probably you need to look at the cognitive cognizance or perception techniques also required to be implemented. So it all depends on how your application works and what kind of demand it is required. Is that clear?
I think so, sir. Yes, sir. Hopefully. Another question, sir. Is 5G made this type of popularity for IoT? What will be the effects with introduction of 6G?
See, generally, I don't know whether that faculty is from EC or CSC. I would like to say there is a huge, we can say, a competition between three technologies: systems engineering, communication technology, algorithm implementations, or algorithm complexity, or you can say the more and more automation. If you really analyze, AI had been introduced in the late 50s in USA and UK, but the people were not able to really come up with the good systems, because at that point of time we did not have the sophisticated computing devices. So VLSI technology was not really came up. The communication, if you see, in 18th century itself, Shannon has defined, but still we did not have wireless communication till wireless cellular communication, particularly two-way communication or interactive communication, late 70s. So what I personally feel, the IoT is an application, is putting a challenges on the system designer as well as communication technology developer. IoT talks about I am capturing a lot of data, and also I need to do certain processing at the capturing node, and also I need to gather such 10,000 lakhs of such nodes data, and I need to transmit and keep it at one place so that the valuable service can be given to the user. These are the challenges posed by the IoT. A beautiful example is, smart grid power system. There is a one place power generation. There is a one place power generation. One place power generation. The other place power utilization. The third one is the transmission. Everywhere, at least not less than 10,000 nodes which are capturing the data. All the data wants to transmit at one particular point where they can analyze the data and give the uninterrupted power supply to each and every one, including villages. It required a lot of competitions and it required the communication. So IoT technology poses these challenges to them, and they are trying to solve by providing higher computational chips or hybrid computational chips. If you see one of the FPGA development, if you see in the beginning, late you can say 2000, the FPGAs were though they have processor inbuilt, but the working with them is very difficult. But if you see today's Zinc Ultra Scale RF SoC, it has inbuilt ADC DSE, which is working more than 5 GSPS, and a dual core Mali processor GPU, and it is also having encoding decoding techniques for the communication, and it is having quad core A53 ARM Cortex A53 core, also ARM Cortex real-time processor. This is nothing but giving or accepting challenge from the IO. So this is how they are interrelated. So IoT poses the challenges to the communication and the computation technology, and these computing designers, systems designers are taking that challenge and solving the problem. Communication technology developers are trying to combine with the different hybrid communication technologies and trying to provide the solution to the IoT demand. So now you can decide. IoT, computation and communication, they are interdependent to have a meaningful application. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Very much clear. Sir, with this, I think questions are finished. There are no more questions in the query box. If there are, sir, JKC sir, if you want to speak anything to the chief guest. If there are none, then I would like to thank on behalf of Bardhaman College of Engineering and our STTP organizing team. I humbly thank you, sir, for sharing a lot of valuable information, and you have on introducing diversified areas of applications of future IoT and 5G, and also introducing broad prospects of emerging technologies in 5G and IoT. I thank you very much, sir, for delivering such a wonderful session. And there were so many comments in the comment box saying that this session is very useful for our participants. I thank you very much, sir, once again.
Thank you.
Now, before going to the second session, for all the participants, I just want to read out some of the rules of this STTP. As you all know, this is an AICTE sponsored workshop. There are few rules to follow. 80% of attendance is mandatory, and in order to make note of this attendance, participants have to enter their unique ID that is been given in the registration details file that is been sent to your mail. Okay, so unique ID hyphen your name has to be entered in the Q&A box between 11 to 11:30 in the morning, and also in the afternoon session. Morning sessions and afternoon sessions attendance will be taken separately. So please do make note of entering your unique ID compulsorily in the Q&A box. And at the end of the training program, that is on Saturday, there will be an assessment test which will be conducted on all the topics that were discussed in this program, and it is very much mandatory to secure 70% of marks in order to get the e-certificate. This is according to the rules of AICTE. And if there are any queries regarding joining issues or any other issue, can be posed you can write a mail to fdpece@vardhaman.org, okay, to get further clarifications. And last but not least, any sort of questions or queries can be posted in Q&A box and will be answered at the end of the session, or if the chance is given, in the middle of the session. So please kindly note these rules and follow accordingly. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to request our distinguished guest, Dr. Mukherjee, sir, to deliver today's morning session on scope, challenges, and applications of IoT and IIoT. Sir, if you are ready, you can present your screen, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm sharing my screen.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, the presentation is visible?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm taking it from here. Okay, thank you once again for inviting me. Now, today's topic, the morning session, I'll be taking the topic on study of various resource allocation techniques for IoT and IIoT applications. Okay, so first, let me tell you that in the previous class, the chief guest, sir, he has talked about some of the technologies, some of the recent technologies that are very much interesting, and the scopes are huge as far as 5G and IoT are concerned. Now, basically, we all have a somewhat idea about IoT and IIoT, and the world is moving towards next generation IoT. So I'll try to take some of the very minute topic on next generation IoT technique in my next lecture. So in this particular webinar, this session, the flow of my presentation will be IoT, IIoT, how IoT and IoT are evolved, some of the basic wireless sensor network concepts. First, I'll start with the basic wireless concepts, and then finally how the IoT has been introduced, how IIoT has been introduced, some of the test cases, and as far as a researcher's point of view, how we can design our problem statement based on that, and how we'll proceed towards this expected solution using AI or any other statistical algorithm methods. Okay, so let me give you a brief about wireless networks. So basically, wireless networks, everyone knows that it's an emerging technology, and as well as in IoT and IIoT, in many other applications nowadays in daily use, let it be for the industrial applications, or let it be for the personal communication this applications, wireless networks is everywhere. Now, basically, these are divided into infrastructure-based and infrastructure-less based. Okay, talking about the infrastructure-based wireless network, as you can see, there's a wired LAN connection. So generally, when we use the wired LAN part and access point, So this access point is nothing but a router kind of thing. So from where we're using Wi-Fi in our offices, in our home. So this type of network is basically called infrastructure-based network, because here we are setting up a small infrastructure. So where there are devices, where there are hardware devices, hardware nodes, and the networking connections. The next is infrastructure-less wireless network. So now here you can see easily that we are having the devices, but the physical infrastructure is not there. The physical infrastructure means any particular platform, let it be WAN or let it be router. So individually they are working as a board, and we can take this to any of the part. So you can say the ad hoc networks are a type of infrastructure less wireless networks. Wireless sensor networks in short. As see, I'm taking this slides a little fast because these are the basics, and those who are not familiar with the wireless sensor network part, this is only for them. Now we are having gateway, we are having different devices, we are having sync, we are having we are having clusters, we are having sensor nodes. Now wireless sensor network, there is an interesting concept which we know that there when we are collecting some of the sensor nodes placed in a specially situated area, or geographically a fixed area, we are calling the number of sensors, and we are making it in a form of clusters. Now here there can be many clusters. The size of the clusters can be varied, and in one cluster there can be some minimum or some maximum number of nodes. That depends on the application. So in short, using clusters, using nodes, different sinks, source, gateway, we are trying to formulating a wireless sensor network. The basic wireless sensor network architecture. Now we are having this is the base, this is the hardware part. Now power unit, sensing unit, storage, transceiver unit. So here the sensor node is sending the data, as well as it is receiving the data. And finally the processor out the processor. Now the basic part is like to make it cut short, the sensing unit, processing unit, communication unit, and power unit. Now the most important part is the communication unit. Here in the previous lecture, someone asked about like why we are using AI for 5G, or is it possible like how to connect AI and IoT. So this will be their answer. The communication unit. Now here in communication unit, the researchers, the developers, they can develop certain algorithms. They can put into the communication unit and make the sensor work accordingly. Now again in the previous lecture, as sir told about the software defined radio and software defined networking. So in the software defined radio and software defined networking, the algorithms which researchers they are developing, they are trying to put that particular algorithm in the communication unit, and make the hardware work, or make the network work based on that. So this is how we can establish a link between how AI, artificial intelligence based algorithms, when we are designing basically for the communication part, so how they are being deployed and how they work in wireless sensor networks. Okay. Now, applications of wireless sensor network. So I'm not taking much into depth. There are various applications: power monitoring system, temperature monitoring system. So wireless in the era of IoT, everything almost 99% of the things are wireless sensor network. Some of the sensors, like some of the sensors in IoT, they are not wireless sensor network. Rather, they are hybrid sensor networks, where the researchers they're trying to connect the optical sensors with the wireless sensor network. So that type of things are also available in IoT. Characteristics of wireless sensor network. So as we know that wireless sensor network, the power efficiency, scalability, responsiveness, reliability, mobility, these are the very much important parameters when a researcher when we're dealing with wireless sensor networks. So starting about from the very base, where the sensor is getting developed, when the researchers they are designing the sensors, till the sensor is communicating and communicating cooperatively in a very heterogeneous manner, all these properties, starting from the power efficiency, scalability, and in today's generation, since we are always using the word green communication, wireless sensor network, the power efficiency plays a vital role. Now, there are certain cases when we're talking about the cooperative communication, the collaborative communication, where to make it short, like we are having some temperature sensors, we are having some humidity sensors, and we want to make a system in such a way that the temperature sensor is communicating with the humidity sensor, although their sensing units are different, their physical properties are different, but they are communicating with each other. That is, we call it as heterogeneous cooperative communication. So in that time, how the cluster reacts, how the overall networking can be made energy efficient. So that part is also a problem statement, and these are the basic characteristics of wireless sensor network that forces us to design that type of networks. Now, in general, challenges of wireless sensor network, power consumption. Since we know that basically wireless sensor network, they are standalone sensors, so they need a power supply. So since nowadays we are using a different type of batteries as well as solar inputs, so there are still the power consumption is a major issue in wireless sensor network. And when we're trying to design the big concepts, for example, the smart city concept, or a particular zone we are making a smart building. So there we are using a plenty of wireless sensor networks, and that wireless sensor, they are standalone sensors. So power consumption plays a vital role. Researchers are working towards the smart power consumption, and it is also an ongoing process. Scalable and flexible architecture. Scalable and flexible architecture means, since already I've talked about the cluster part. So